Sometimes I worry I'll run out of things to talk about, but there's always something new, and the indie dyers are up to no good today. Before I say even a single thing, reminder of the rules here. I talk about the stories that I want to talk about, and we can have a civil discussion in the comments. Don't go and send any negative messages to anyone I talk about here. You're all always really good about this, but I'm very serious, don't do this. Okay, so today's drama is centered around the independent yarn dyer Sock Obsession Yarns. I want to say Sock Obsessions Yarn so bad, but it is Sock singular, Obsession singular, Yarns plural. But I will be referring to them throughout the video as Sock because I don't like the acronym SO that people have been using to talk about them, and I'm not saying Sock Obsession Yarns every single time. Sock got into some public back and forth with Treehouse Knits a few weeks ago, with both of them posting videos and extensively on their stories to try and explain their side of the story. And of course, this wouldn't be complete without name calling, copying accusations, tears, and death threats. I had a lot of people send me this story to talk about, as well as some screenshots of posts that had since been deleted, which was really helpful, so thank you to anybody who sent me anything. It was kind of tricky to piece everything together and put together a timeline of when things were posted and what happened until I remembered that I could use the sponsor of today's video, Milanote. Milanote is an online tool for organizing all of your creative projects. So I really like to visually organize my ideas, and something I really like about Milanote is how it simulates how I feel organizing things on paper. Call me old-fashioned, but I love writing things down and drawing lines and erasing things and moving things around on paper. I feel like I can actually do all of those things with Milanote, but it's just easier because instead of erasing something, I just delete it and move it somewhere else. Recently, I used Milanote to plan a video on my Made in the Moment channel and to keep track of all of my favorite cable knit patterns so that I could figure out which one I wanted to make. I started with a vague outline of what I wanted to talk about in the video, and then I made a few different boards to put things onto. A mood board, a board of the patterns that people recommended I check out, and a board for me to keep notes about the project that I chose. On the mood board, I added a bunch of pictures so that I could see sort of the vibe that I was going for, which in this case is weary lighthouse keeper / random hot celebrity man. On the patterns board, I played around a lot with how I wanted to format the links, and I added pictures and notes for every link. I like how there's a lot of information in here, but it doesn't feel too cluttered. I just pulled out the information that I wanted that was relevant to this project. I am notoriously bad at taking notes on the projects that I'm working on, but I do really like having the information for the yarn and the needles that I used, as well as when I started, and putting it all together in a place that looks really cute. Milanote's web clipper extension made it really easy to add all the pattern links to the board. So basically I just found the pattern that I wanted to link, and then I used the web clicker to add the link to my board directly from the website. So then I just went back into my board and sorted the link where I wanted it to go. Milanote also has the option to share boards for real-time collaboration, which is great if you're working with other people on projects. In this case, I used the option to link the board as view only, which I then linked in the description of my YouTube video so people could follow along and click on the patterns, but they weren't able to change it. I really like using Milanote. I find it really helpful to have a space where I can organize and move things around like this. Milanote is completely free to use with no time limit. If you'd like to try it out for yourself, use the link in my description to try it out for your next creative project. Thank you again to Milanote for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it. Sock Obsession Yarn is a yarn dyer based in Las Vegas, Nevada. They have 40,000 followers on Instagram and seem to have a very loyal customer base. Their tagged photos are full of project photos. There are YouTube videos showing people unboxing their yarns, and on Ravelry, some of their yarns have hundreds of projects. Sock Obsession Yarn makes variegated, multicolored yarns in primarily neon and bright colors, but with a huge range of variety throughout their stock. The Sock Obsession LLC has been registered since 2022, but their Instagram has been active since 2015. So they've been in business for at most 9 years, unless this account used to be a personal one and then switched to a business one. Either way, they've been around for a little while. So this all began at the end of January when Sock posted on their Instagram. The caption starts with a very big trigger warning for profanity and insults. Sock says that they've been asked over and over again where they source their materials and how they create their colorways. She says, "Bottom line, I shouldn't have to explain to anyone why I am hesitant to give out my own recipes and work I create myself. It's been years and years of trial and error. However, occasionally I witness a very intense and negative responses to my refusal to give out the information about my work." She says that she doesn't and will never post any tutorials on how she dyes her yarn, and if people are following her for that reason, then she's sorry to disappoint them, but that's just not what she's gonna do. She says, "To give you a glimpse and fraction of the responses to my 'no, I won't share this information,' here are few examples. Swipe to see what treasures I receive on an occasion." She says that slides 2 and 3 are emails from someone who has been spamming her comments asking how she dyes her yarn. So Sock says that she deleted the spam comments, blocked their account, and then started receiving these emails through the contact form on her website. The post includes not screenshots, but photos of a computer screen, of the emails, which I think is much funnier. The content of the pictures are less funny. And the unfortunate thing about these is that they seem to be sent by the same person, Sarah, who elected to give their name but made 2 burner emails. The first one is from stillcan'tbelieveyou@yahoo.com, and the second one is from goyourself@yahoo.com. Like, sorry, it's upsetting. This is hate mail. This is hate mail. It's scary to receive an email like this. It is serious, but the person sending you this email is called goyourself@yahoo.com. It's funny. It's funny. That's a funny email. I would be upset if I received an email like this, but you have to admit the name is funny. And this person did leave some pretty nasty messages. So the first one says, "You seriously blocked me for asking what dye you use for your yarn? F you, you crazy a-hole B. See if I buy any of your products now." And the next message says, "I hope you lose your effing business for being so a-hole-ish and R-worded. Something, it's cut off, a waste of space." Not great. And then the final slide of this post, Sock alleges, is a photo from one of her former customers who, approximately 2 to 3 weeks after receiving their order of fairy witchcraft and bioluminescence colorway, became suddenly yarn dyer themselves and posted their brand new colorways. Judge for yourself. There's a lot going on here. Don't worry, we'll talk through it all. There seems to be 2 separate issues that have arisen here, both of which will become important. First, Sock has introduced us to the problem that they are constantly harassed by at least one person. This person asks them to share their recipes on their colorways. In response to this alleged harassment, Sock responds by blocking this person. We'll get more into this in a second. Secondly, Sock accuses one of their former customers, Wizard Yarns, of copying one of their colorways. According to Sock, this person ordered yarn from her and then 2 to 3 weeks later started posting brand new yarn that looked suspiciously like Sock's yarn. This was not immediately clear from the Instagram post that I just showed you. A lot of this was presuming prior knowledge that you knew what Sock Obsession Yarns colorway, fairycraft, and fairy witchcraft and bioluminescence colorways looked like. A few days later, they did post on Facebook as well, calling out this person, Wizard, who they accused of copying them. Wizard Yarn, the accused party, is private on Instagram. I'm not sure if they were before this all went down or not, and they have 200 followers. Here's what the 2 yarns look like next to each other. I don't think anybody owns a specific color or concept for a yarn, but I do have to admit these look very, very similar. If Wizard bought these yarns from Sock and then attempted to sell them as their own later on or use them to directly copy and then monetize that, I think that's pretty shady. Even if it's technically legal, I don't think we should base morality on what's technically legal. I think it's pretty not good. I think because the post was a little bit confusing, most of the comments on this post didn't address the Wizard Yarn stuff at all and were only focused on the hate emails. Someone commented saying that they could understand someone asking a simple, innocent question about, oh, where did you get your yarns? But the spamming seemed like a little bit too much. And in response, Sock said, "She's been spamming my account, which looked very suspicious, and she got blocked. It was very clear her interest was purely based on obtaining the identical dyes so she can achieve the same vibrant results. She got blocked as a result of her intrusive and overstepping behavior, and her response was to cuss me out via my contact form on the website. Hope this helps." So this post got a lot of traction. Somebody posted it on the Reddit forum r/craftsnark. There was a lot of conversation about it. People saying don't keep this to yourself. Keep this off your business page. We don't need to see all this. But all the comments that I saw on the post while it was still up were all very positive, which leads me to believe that Sock was probably deleting and or blocking people, which becomes a pattern as we go throughout the story. So then on February 2nd, Sock announces a little bit of an Instagram hiatus, saying that she's going to temporarily deactivate her Instagram account for a few days to sort of let this all blow over, which I didn't even know that you could do that. I didn't know you could temporarily deactivate your account. But the reason that she is doing this is because she says she's received death threats against her and her family. And sorry, but who is sending death threats over someone gatekeeping yarn dyes? What's going on here? She ends the post by saying, "While I deal with law enforcement regarding this, hopefully you can enjoy the yarn directly on my website and here on Facebook. I'm available for any order inquiries through my contact form on the website still. This much to the loving yarn community, I'd say, thank you for your understanding." In the comments, someone says, "I don't think it's the yarn community doing this." To which Sock responds saying that it is the other dyers who she has previously blocked. She says, "These dyers I've blocked are unhappy about the fact that I won't allow them access to me or my work. It's literally that. There are screenshots that show which dyers actually even started this smear campaign. big if true, right? Sock is accusing other yarn dyers in the community of starting a hate campaign towards her because they were blocked. Someone asks who the dyers are, and Sock gives a few names. Where does she get these names? These are the names of a few dyers that have been posting publicly about how Sock is handling the drama so far. These dyers have been posting on their stories with their concerns that Sock blocks a lot of indie dyers. So Sock takes that to mean these dyers are creating a smear campaign against her, which I feel like is a pretty big leap. In a later post, Sock says that the death threats that she allegedly received were from burner accounts, not from these dyers that she was accusing at the time. She's just saying, I'm pretty sure it's them. I have proof, but I'm not going to show you. And I really don't want to doubt when someone says that they are receiving death threats. That is a very serious thing, but it's also an extremely serious accusation to put on someone else if they are not sending you death threats. She says in these Facebook comments that are still live that there is proof that this was a coordinated, planned attack by these other dyers, that they started this hate campaign against her. So she does post some screenshots here, but unless she has additional proof that she's not sharing publicly anywhere for legal reasons, the proof that she shares is not proof that these people are sending her death threats. One person she accuses in this comment thread is Treehouse Knits. The picture that she posts as proof is this story slide. Anyone know why Sock Obsession Yarns blocks literally all indie dyers? Sorry, her name won't link because I'm blocked, but you can look her account up. Several pals and myself have asked through our private accounts, and she claims it's so we won't copy her. What? And another person that Sock accuses is Sincere Fiber Co., who reposts Treehouse Knits' story, saying, Treehouse Knits calling out an issue that is saddening, honestly. This isn't what the yarn dyeing community is about. Sock Obsession Yarns, we need to build each other up and support one another, not tear each other down. In this comment thread where Sock says that she is sharing proof of death threats from these dyers, Sock also includes a cropped screenshot of a message from Sincere Fiber Co. that says, I am very sorry that this has been your experience as a dyer in this community. I've had a wonderful past several months talking to, being inspired by, and getting to know many wonderful dyers, who are humans too, by the way. Sending you good vibes and wishing you find some professional help. To which Sock responds, profession help? At this point, I should note that Sock does not speak English as their native language, so any of the spelling, grammar mistakes in the stories, my guess it's because of that. Something like this too, where they don't understand that this person is saying you should go see like a mental health professional, and they respond with like profession help, like thinking it's about their job. It's definitely possible that a lot of miscommunications here are because of mistranslations, but yeah, I'll just leave that there for now. Also in this thread of proof are the 2 emails from Sock's original post, the ones from gofuckyourself@yahoo.com. Here she's implying that she received these emails either from Treehouse Knits or Sincere Fiber Co. or someone kind of in cahoots with them days after she had posted that original post. So here's where I think we need to pause and question how reliable our narrator Sock is. It's wrong to send people death threats, but it's also wrong to falsely accuse people of sending those death threats. Based on the evidence that she chooses to present in this comment thread, she's either hiding something or she's just misunderstanding what's going on and making connections where there aren't any. Several things can be true at once. People can be harassing her, and yarn dyers can be choosing to call her out for blocking them for what they see as no good reason. Okay, sorry, my contacts got too dry and I had to switch to glasses. So here are a few posts from Sock's story a few days later once she came back to Instagram, because of course she came back. Nobody comes back to Instagram faster than someone announcing they're going on hiatus. So let's just pretend we're like clicking through Sock's story while she posted. She starts with this screenshot of her messages with Sincere Fiber Co. and says, be aware of toxicity in yarn community. Here's an example. Quite a bit of a toxic narrative is floating around, especially among the starting indie dyers or similar. So let's clear out some things. She posts some messages from Sincere Fiber Co. and says, my response to her, and then she blocked me. On the screen are messages from Sock to Sincere, where she says that she blocks any of the indie dyers who have been harassing her. I'm very sorry to see that you're choosing to side with the nonsense, and I will not condone this. I refuse to be a part of toxic so-called community. I can gladly pull out screenshots of conversations with several dyers who told me to go myself, stop stealing their customers, and to go back to my country. If this is true, this is super messed up. And I'm not accusing her of lying, but like we saw in the Facebook comment thread, she brings up these screenshots several times and never actually shows any of the proof of people actually threatening her. Again, death threats are bad. She should not be getting death threats or racist messages from anybody. And she doesn't have to share them, of course, but if she did have them, why wouldn't she share those instead of the nice message that Sincere Fiber Co. sent that was basically like, my experience in the yarn dyeing community has been great. Sorry, yours hasn't been. Okay, next slide. First of all, I don't believe that artists should be following one another, and it's something I've been also taught in my art classes at university. We have been often sent home to create instead of sitting in a studio or have fake walls between us so we don't look at each other's work. So this is just where I fundamentally disagree with this, and she's entitled to have her opinion of artists can't look at anything else, but it's just not realistic and it's also not conducive to artistic expression. The next slide is a repost from her Facebook of her reposting Sincere's repost of Treehouse Knits. What? Just put a text slide up. Just put a black background and put your text on there. You don't have to do all this. The text says, but this individual, of course, doesn't get it and believes it's all about community and whatever. I'm tired of explaining myself and easily it is to lose originality when I allow myself to be influenced by others. But yeah, of course, her narrative is more convenient, and it's more fun to point a finger and make me look like the self-isolating loser who is paranoid of having stuff stolen. Hey, you said it, not me. I'm kidding. I don't believe that, but it is strange. We always come back to this discussion that art does not exist in a vacuum. Innovation in art can happen because of how artists interact with the world and with other artists. She ends it by saying, sorry these dyers feel entitled access to me and my work. However, we all get to choose how we create and function, and my way is to not have access to others' creations. If these dyers feel that they're the victims here, I really feel sorry for them. I do not wish to have access to their work. The end of story. Then Lauren from Treehouse Knits responds to these stories. She says, how is asking why a whole slew of creators in the same industry are blocked bullying? How this individual is choosing to respond is. There's no need to call Raylan, Sincere Fiber Co., or other dyers small people or small businesses. It doesn't matter what size your business is, you are a valued member of this industry. In response to this slide, Lauren says, I genuinely feel bad that she has this idea. As Emily pointed out, how else would entire artistic movements have been a thing if artists didn't talk to each other? Creating great art doesn't mean you must isolate yourselves. A few people called out the fact that Sock chose to respond to Sincere Fiber Co. instead of Treehouse Knits because she refers to Sincere as a starting dyer and therefore kind of sees them as not needing to have as much respect as someone who's a little bit more established like Treehouse Knits. In response to this, Treehouse Knits says, this is the part that irks me to no end. She chose to target Sincere Fiber Co. when she should have messaged me. I guess that would require her to unblock me though, and you know I would share those screenshots. At this point, a lot of other indie dyers posted on their stories in support of Lauren and Raylan of Treehouse Knits and Sincere Fiber Co. And there started to be this like tagging chain of like, tag some indie dyers and give them some love, and everyone's like tagging 8 of their favorite accounts to get people to go follow and support. This is a tricky situation. There's a lot of sides to this story, but something that I find kind of strange is seeing Sock try to monetize off of this situation. So she said she was taking a break from Instagram, and when she came back, she said she was hoping to post some new colors, but she's feeling so sad, so instead she's going to run a sale for anybody who stuck around after the drama. As a welcome to the new followers on my page, I see you. So happy to have you here. Use code YourMagic10. I understand having a stressful day, a stressful few days, and wanting to drive some sales to maybe like boost your mood a little bit, but to me this feels a bit manipulative, taking advantage of the parasocial relationship that you have with your followers to get them to pity you and sympathize for you as a victim in this situation. I don't want to like accuse her of lying about the death threats and all of this being fake, but like it is just kind of weird to see someone take advantage of a situation like this in this way. Okay. On February 5th, Treehouse Knits went live on Instagram for about 10 minutes to talk about some of the accusations that Sock had made of her. In the video, she never mentions Sock by name, but she does say that a mysterious other yarn dyer is going through their following list and seeing anybody else that follows Treehouse Knits and sending them individual messages with reasons why they should no longer follow Treehouse Knits anymore. Why? Because Treehouse Knits has apparently been sending Sock death threats.
Hi everyone. Okay, so I'm very nervous coming on here. I'm kind of shaking. It's been brought to my attention from a few followers that they've been contacted by a specific Yarn Dyer. Seemingly, said Yarn Dyer is going through her follower list to see who of her followers also follows me, and is sending them a message with a lot of information on why they should not be following me. A lot of very, very harmful and untrue information.
You follow Lauren. This girl is the nastiest skank bee I have ever met. Do not trust her. She is a fugly What? 2 minutes in, Lauren starts crying.
I didn't expect to cry.
The tear right here, paid actor. So then Treehouse says that she has never been in contact with Sock before because she's been blocked, so how could she be in contact? The only interaction they may have had is Treehouse posting publicly on stories that Sock may have seen.
I'm blocked, as well as a lot of other Dyers and members of the community, for I don't know what reason, other than being hated for my profession.
And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make light of something that is serious, but being hated for my profession is a really funny thing to reduce this to. It's not that. It's that Sock is like terrified of someone copying her. That's it. It seems like she's very territorial about her space. And we can argue all day about whether she should or should not block people for any reason at all, but at the end of the day, it's Sock's prerogative to block whoever she wants to block for whatever reason she wants to block them for. Okay, back to the live. So Lauren says that it's getting so dark. Is it too dark? Sorry it's so dark. We're going for dramatic lighting now, I guess. So Lauren says she wanted to come on this live just in case anybody received any messages from Sock so that they would know that the messages were not true.
These are just things I would never say to any other human. I'm a mother. They're things I would never say about someone's child. I don't even know that they have a child. I just never thought I would ever experience somebody else single-handedly trying to go after our customers and our livelihood by saying things that are not true.
Lauren wraps up the live by saying that what Sock is doing is defamation, and then she threatens to seek legal counsel if this continues. She says that she's worked really hard to build her business and she doesn't want to lose it all based on something that's not true.
And I just genuinely love what I do.
The next day, Sock responds. She posts a photo with audio that's like a voice memo of her speaking. Also didn't know you could do this on Instagram. In the caption, there's an edit that she has added later on, and she says, I understand that Treehouse Knits makes claims of me contacting her followers or somehow harassing her. None of that is true. As you already likely know, shortly after these physical threats, I decided to temporarily deactivate my Instagram account. I deactivated on Friday and kept it offline until Sunday. She remained blocked on my account anyway. I was focusing in meantime on my orders and managing my anxiety caused by all this. I've done several statements on my Facebook on Friday and Saturday letting everyone know what's happening and that my Instagram is deactivated. She says that the only time that she contacted anybody was when she responded to Sincere Fiber Co., who had messaged her first. She says there are two sides to the story and she wanted to come on here and tell her side. On to the actual content of the audio post. Sock spends the first minute and a half talking about how she's insecure about her accent, so she's obviously very touchy about not speaking fluent English or whatever, but it's really not that bad. She then says that Lauren has made some accusations that are not true and has left out some parts of the story that are true.
She's made some statements there. She made some accusations which aren't true, really. And she's leaving a lot of information out of it. Of course, that's, convenient for her side of story to make herself look like the true victim.
Sock says that Treehouse Knits had been following her for a while, and then Sock eventually blocked her. Apparently, in response, Lauren emailed her asking why she was blocked, which for the record, don't do that. If someone blocks you, just move on.
The thing is, as a yarn dyer, I don't believe that we should be following one another on social media or following, looking at each other's work when we are actually trying to be original and stay original and unique and to our own style. I think each of us should more or less stay in our own lane and focus on our own work.
So it seems like Sock's argument for blocking people ranges from 1, they were harassing me, 2, I don't want them copying me, and 3, I don't want to copy them.
And it's really frustrating to see because I don't want to. I just don't want to see others' work. There's no way that we can make all exactly unique and not repeatable or, whatnot. There will be crossovers and there will be conflicts of interest. I wanted to ensure, that at least there's proof that I didn't copy anybody, because I don't look at their work. I don't want to look at their work.
And honestly, just this seems like a really sad and stressful way to live your life as an artist. If someone's going to accuse you of copying, they're going to do it whether there's proof or not. And if someone's going to copy you, they're going to figure out a way to do it even if you block them. She says that the other dyers can do whatever they wanted, but they probably shouldn't be looking at Sock's yarn anyway. So she was really just doing them a favor.
However, she took it completely off and the wrong way, took it as a personal attack somehow, portrayed me as a bully somehow, where I just wanted to be left alone.
Sock then says that she was tagged in dozens of stories on dozens of different accounts with different threatening messages. She said these accounts didn't have a name or a picture, and so they were clearly just made up for the purpose of posting these stories.
Within minutes, I was tagged in dozens, if not even more, random Insta stories by mostly like made up accounts where I couldn't see who that is. Or there were like no name and no picture on it. So it was literally somebody was just making up new accounts and just posting and tagging me.
The stories were apparently full of cuss words and suggestions that she should unalive herself, that she was an unfit mother, and that her child would end up dead because of her.
Without saying explicit words and cuss words and whatever was there included, content roughly was about suggesting I should unalive myself, I should end myself. If I don't, I will end up in a ditch, stuff like that. Then there were also suggestions that my child will also end up this way.
And like, guys, what the hell? Who is sending death threats over this? Like, it's not that deep. Like, is someone just upset that they're blocked? That is a huge overreaction. Sock also responds to the claims that she literally blocks all dyers, which is what Treehouse said. And in response, Sock says, I don't block all dyers, just like anyone I want to block.
Where she made the statement on a Friday morning, calling me out that I block all the dyers. That's not true. I don't block all dyers.
She calls the accusations wild, unnecessary, not true, and completely twisted in Lauren's benefit. And she claims that Lauren was upset that Sock blocked her, so now she's trying to cancel Sock. She says that Lauren needs to stop the drama and just get back to her work. And I could say the same thing for Sock and many other people. At the end of this, Sock mentions legal matters regarding these threats and says that it will be handled. And then on February 7th, we get one last post from Treehouse Knits, a message from Treehouse Knits. My only intention for Monday's live was to address messages that were received by some of my followers that called to question my personal and business ethics and standards. It was never intended to involve any parties other than Treehouse Knits, which is why I chose not to include any other identifying information on parties involved. At this time, I would prefer to not receive any further communications regarding this situation, with the exception of direct messages you may have received pertaining to myself or my business. Treehouse Knits was founded on the principles of love, acceptance, and community. For all these reasons, I think it would be best for us to all move forward in a positive and uplifting way. All my love, Lauren. And that's kind of it for now. Sorry to end another one of these videos with a I think they're both kind of wrong take, but I think they're both kind of wrong. Based on the information that we have, 1, it's wrong to send death threats. Whoever is the person that is sending the death threats, don't do that. Sock is wrong to accuse people of sending death threats without proper proof. Lauren is wrong to beg for reasons why she's blocked, and it seems like she's downplaying her previous interactions with Sock in some way. I personally disagree with Sock's theory that artists shouldn't follow other artists, but if Sock blocks me for that, so be it. I will not be going out of my way to hunt down a reason why I'm blocked. Some people are a little block happy, but that's really just up to them. Sock blocked. Is there a joke with sock blocked? Sock blocked. And I also think, why are we all so upset about being blocked? Someone can block you for any reason at all. They don't owe you an explanation. You're allowed to be offended and upset by it. You can feel like it's not fair, that they don't know your true intentions, that you don't deserve to be blocked. But they are well within their rights to just say, I don't want you to follow me. And that's that. I think what probably happened here is that they're both just kind of misremembering some things. I think Treehouse Knits was blocked and sent a message asking why. Maybe she even sent multiple and Sock felt like she was being harassed. Several years have passed, Treehouse has no recollection of this, but she hears that Sock is putting other indie dyers on blast and blocking a bunch of dyers and is like, hey, that happened to me. Why is she blocking everyone? Treehouse posts on her story saying, hey, don't you think it's weird? And then Sock sees this as 1, fighting words, and 2, proof that Treehouse is the one sending her death threats because Treehouse is still mad that she got blocked. So then Sock goes public with this theory because she thinks that Treehouse has also been holding a grudge all this time when I don't even know. Like what happened with this? This got out of control real fast. In conclusion, the Indie Dyers always have so much drama. I don't know exactly why it is, but so much of this that was just posted publicly should have been like one singular slide on a close friend story or a text to a group of your friends being like, ugh, people are sending me mean emails. It's upsetting to receive negative feedback and pushback, but it's also very unprofessional to post about it like this. These are business accounts where people are just engaging in very petty she said drama. So yeah, if you one day find yourself dying yarn, make sure you have a good support system of people that you can send complaints through so that you don't end up in a situation like this. If you liked this video, like it, subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna do something fun when I hit 100K. Don't know what it is yet. I have some ideas, but I haven't decided. And comment your thoughts on this. Also, if you want to, you can follow me on Instagram or TikTok. Keep up with me there. I post on there sometimes. And that's all. See you next time. And everyone say thank you, Jaida, for editing this video. Thank you, Jaida. 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 Okay, that's actually all.